I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you a recipe for a white chocolate pound cake. Now, the reason I am making this recipe is because one, it is incredibly good and it's just a little twist on a regular pound cake, but two, is a requested recipe from one of my viewers that has been requested for quite a few times, so I figured I would share it with you and give thanks to him for making the request. Now, it is undeniably delicious when you make a pound cake, right? I mean, a pound cake is delicious, but we're going to tune things up a little bit with some extra sweetness by adding some delicious white chocolate. And let's get started by going over the ingredients so we can get this thing rolling. You'll need all-purpose flour, salt, baking soda, baking powder, granulated sugar, eggs, vanilla paste or vanilla extract, sour cream. You'll need some butter that's been softened at room temperature, and some white chocolate. Now, you can use white chocolate chips if you want to. I'm going to grate a bar of chocolate because I don't want big chunks of white chocolate chips running through my pound cake. I want this to kind of, the white chocolate to infuse throughout the entire pound cake. That's why I'm going to shred it, grate it so it's really nicely shredded, really fine. But you can use white chocolate chips if you want to. I've got a bun pan. This is a 10 cup bun pan here, 10 inch round, not 10 cup, 10 inch, excuse me. On a baking sheet, spray with nonstick spray. Get your oven preheated to 350. Once those are ready, you can pretty much have everything else on hand and you are ready to rock and roll, my friend. I'm going to make this in my standing mixer just to make life a little bit easier. I'm going to add my softened butter, and it's really important that your butter is nice and soft because you want this to get creamed really, really well. I'm going to add that with my sugar. And I'm going to turn this up and mix this until it's really nice and creamy. In the meantime, I'm just going to take the spatula because it's close to me and mix my dry ingredients together to get those going. Set that aside. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my box grater and grate some chocolate. Don't worry if they don't all come out perfect. It's fine. I just usually take a bar of chocolate like so and just grate away. I'm almost done with my chocolate. And yes, I've been snacking on it. Guilty as charged. Bring this closer to me because I just want to take my spatula and run it along the sides just to loosen those bits up. And then I'm going to add my eggs along with some vanilla paste. Because I'm using white chocolate, I want that vanilla to really be present. So I'm using vanilla paste, but of course, just use vanilla extract if you don't want to use, or if you don't have vanilla paste. All right, looks good. Bring this back up, and I want this to mix for a while to get everything really nice and fluffy and incorporated. I'm going to go back to grating / eating, and then we'll add our few and final ingredients. Let's add the sour cream, which is what keeps this pound cake incredibly moist and very rich, which there are certain things you can slim down a bit. Pound cake is not one of them, and I'm not going to attempt. If you're going to have yourself a slice of pound cake, if you're going to have yourself a slice of pound cake or anything really sweet like that, have the real deal, just have a little bit of it. You know what I mean? Okay, that looks good enough, I'd say. Let's add our dry ingredients. First of all, let me take my spatula and just run it along the sides like always. And now we're going to add my dry ingredients and my grated chocolate. Now, because my chocolate has been grated really well, I don't have to worry about having to coat this in flour because look at that. It's really, really finely grated. But if you were adding white chocolate chips, you would want to coat them in a little bit of flour. Otherwise, they'll all completely sink to the bottom of your bun pan. Mix this until it's all combined and you're good to go. And I need to clean up this mess. I'm just going to add, I forgot to mention, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of milk just because that grated white chocolate kind of, you know, it dries things up just a little tiny bit. But by adding a 1/4 cup of milk, look at that. I mean, it's just cream heaven. I'm just going to let that go for 1 second and then we'll be done. That looks and smells incredible. I'm just going to put this in my pan and get it nice and even. This is nice and evened out. I'm going to put this in my 350-degree preheated oven for around an hour or until you take a toothpick or a piece of spaghetti, dry piece of spaghetti, insert it right in. If it comes out clean with no wet batter, then you know it's done. Let it cook completely and we'll be ready to eat. Get yourself a cup of coffee ready. Or tea. Now, pound cake was in the oven for around an hour or so. Check on it at around 55 minutes. If it still needs more time, it'll take maybe like an hour to an hour and 10 minutes. Just keep your eye on it. And I just let it cool, and then I took it out of the bun pan just so that I could put it on a platter. Now I'm going to go right in. I'm very excited for this. Should be using a serrated knife, but you know what? I break the rules so often every other place. Breaking the rules today. Ah! It like flew out at me. Look at that. And it's like golden, buttery goodness. All I wish I had right now is a really nice, a nice homemade like blackberry jam to put on top. Mm. Mm. It's just a delicious classic pound cake, but just made a little bit sweeter with that white chocolate. I could eat the whole thing. Phenomenal. Go to laurainthekitchen.com. I'm too busy eating. For the recipe, I mean, look at that goldenness. How do you not want that to be on your table? laurainthekitchen.com will have the recipe for you. I hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.